Good afternoon and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host, Michelle Dawes-Bird, and as always, I'm super excited to be here with you this afternoon. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We got a fun-filled, packed one today. I'm talking to one of my favorites today, so I'm really super excited about that. I'm just not going to keep you in suspense anymore. I'm just going to bring them in. Today, my topic is all about a lawyer by day, a DJ by night. It is DJ Mr. Alan King. Hey, Alan, how are you?
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Well, you know you're one of my favorite people too. I hate it's been so long since we've seen each other. So thanks for
I'm
having me.
tickled. I'm tickled. Alan, I want to just jump right in with you because I
Sure.
respect you. I respect your opinion. I respect your profession. There's been so much going on these past couple of weeks with Georgia turning blue, with Warnock getting in office and Onslow. I just wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts about them rioting the Capitol last week? What was that all about?
Well, first of all praise to you and everybody in the ATL and in Georgia turning blue. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
I know you put in some work too. So last week or January 6th, I mean, was just absolutely insane. But it was really the culmination of what Donald Trump has put out in the atmosphere over the last 4 years. And, frankly, it was so irresponsible on his part because he knows he has these army of people that, listen and hang on his every word and believe whatever it is that he tells them. I have absolutely no doubt that Donald Trump knows he lost the election, and he knows that he's a smart guy and he's strategic. Although, that's about the only positive things I can think to say about him. But when you put these lies out there and conspiracy theories, and people hear it from the president of the United States, we shouldn't be surprised that a crazy mob will take mob action. So it's just so disappointing for the country, but it all lands at the feet of Donald Trump as far as I'm concerned.
Right. So we shouldn't really be surprised by the antics, right?
No, not at all. I mean, he's been fomenting violence and racism, quite frankly, since before he was president. And I genuinely don't think he believes a lot of that stuff. He is strategic, and he's a manipulator, and he's a liar. It's amazing to me that his people haven't figured out that he's a liar yet. There have been so many signs. Yeah, President Obama was born in America. He ain't built no wall. Mexico ain't paid for it. The Affordable Care Act is still the law of the land.
Yeah.
And last time I checked, Hillary Clinton is not in jail.
Yeah.
Has not been locked up. So basically, he's done absolutely nothing that he promised or ran on, and still these people think that he's telling the truth.
I know.
It's amazing.
I know, it's incredible, but I do want to piggyback off the point on the fact that he is strategic. So I don't think he's going to go away quietly. I think that he'll go away eventually, but I think he's already working on his next moves, whatever that may be. Wouldn't you agree, Alan?
Yeah, I do, but I tell you, getting banned from Twitter is a big, fly in his ointment, because he's got to have a means of continuing to communicate with his legions of idiots. But and obviously he loved to tweet, and Twitter was a big part of his life. So, they're saying he's banned permanently. I have a feeling they're going to rescind that at some point after he's out of office.
Right.
But that's cramped everything he's trying to do when he has lost Twitter and can't constantly communicate directly with his people. And so it'll be interesting to see. I do think he's going to come up with some kind of news organization, some alternative to Fox News and some of the other sites that are out there.
Yeah.
But he's going to have a lot, he's got lawsuits coming. He might have criminal prosecution coming, as a result of his last dastardly act, which was encouraging this riot. he's really cut himself off. I mean, he's toxic. His brand is toxic. People are just not going to mess with him going forward. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how he figures out how to continue to thrive and make money and really be in charge of the Republican Party. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
It will be. We have to pay attention because there was a population or a percentage of black people that were supporting him as well, which was surprising. So it will be interesting to see how he rises out of this and who are the people that still believe in him. I'm still trying to figure out why were they believing in him in the first place, because he didn't do anything. I mean, a stimulus check, maybe, some tax breaks, perhaps, but the man doesn't care about the human race, and we're all a part of that. So to me, that should weigh a little bit heavier than anything else that he's talking about.
No, I feel you. I mean, I always say maybe he's the worst president of all time, but he's definitely the worst human being that's ever been president. Save for maybe some of our early presidents who owned slaves.
Right.
But other than that, he is about the worst human being who has ever been president. And we're seeing the results of that. Hundreds of people getting arrested and locked up for listening to his nonsense.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Enough about that guy.
Yeah, enough about
Let's talk about you. Alan King, tell me, where are you from? Are you born and raised in Chicago?
I am born and raised in Chicago, in the city, south side of Chicago. So, yeah.
And no intentions of leaving. That's the place. That's it.
It's crazy because every winter I tell myself, why in the hell am I doing this when I don't have to? But I love the city, and despite its faults, the violence issue is an issue,
right?
Although I think that gets overplayed a lot, but you never know. Retirement time, I may pop up somewhere else, but I love the city. I'm a Chicago kid through and through.
So as a kid in Chicago, what kind of music did you listen to, Alan? What influenced you back then?
Yeah. I have an older brother and had an older sister. So my sister's like 11 years older than me. And, we had music in our house always. And, she would tell me this story, and my mother would tell me this story. Like my sister was a big Beatles fan. Like this is in the 60s.
Yeah.
I'm like 4 and 5 years old. And she had a record player in her room, and she'd be in there playing Beatles records all the time. And apparently I would go in there and mess around with her records and put things out of place. And she eventually had a lock put on her bedroom to keep me out from messing with her records. But, with the ingenuity I had as a 4-year-old, I found a broom in the kitchen, and I used the broom handle because I couldn't even reach the lock. But I opened the lock, and I would go in there and play her records. So literally from when I was 4 or 5 years old, I had an interest in music and playing records. But then my brother's 4 years older, so most of my musical taste came from him. So we were listening to, Parliament Funkadelic, Earth, Wind and Fire, Bar-Kays, Confunction, all these R&B groups. So that early on, that was before I discovered dance music.
Right.
We can certainly, of course, talk about, but it was R&B, P-Funk, Earth, Wind and Fire. That was
all of that.
My childhood.
Awesome. So I'm going to kind of speed up just a little bit. I want to talk about when you decided to go to college. Where did you go?
I went to a small college in Illinois called Augustana College, and a small liberal arts college. And I'm almost ashamed to say now that I pretty much went there to play basketball because I was being recruited to play ball. And long story short, I ended up at Augustana. But it's a really good school. I met a lot of wonderful people that are still close friends today. So I managed to... people that look at this old guy now may not see me as a hooper, but I was very much, and managed to go to Augustana and play ball and somehow do well enough to get into a decent law school after that. So
What position you play as a ball player?
point guard. I was a
Uh-huh.
point guard, yeah.
Coming down, coming through, right?
Absolutely. Dishing,
Yeah,
making,
passing it.
you
Yeah.
know, stuff.
So you were probably awesome in the neighborhood as well, hence why that led you to going to that college.
Yeah, basketball was a big deal
Kept
growing
you out of
up.
trouble?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I found some trouble, but fortunately, nothing too serious.
So music and basketball, then we're at college and then we go to law school. So what made you become a lawyer, Alan? Why a lawyer?
Yeah, that's interesting too. My father was a lawyer,
Okay.
actually, which might lead you to think that that's the reason I wanted to become a lawyer. Nah, I can't even say that was it.
Was it a
To,
woman? Was
to
it
tell
was
you,
it the
no,
girls?
to tell you the truth, I got to about my junior year of college, and I was like, man, this is about to end in about 12 months. I have no idea what I'm going to do after college. And my thought at the time, literally, because my father's a lawyer, I mean, I was familiar with that. My thought at the time was, you know what? I'm going to go to law school because that'll give me 3 more years to figure out what I want to do with my life. And so it wasn't a kind of thing like I always wanted to be a lawyer and
Right.
all that stuff. I really didn't. But once I got in law school, it kind of agreed with me, the writing part of it, the sort of analytical thinking. Then I had some good professors in law school that I really liked. And so, once I got there and survived at least the first year, which can be very difficult, I was pretty sure what I
That's what
wanted
you
to
wanted
do
to
at that
do.
point. So.
So tell me what the music scene was like during that time. Now you're a young adult, you're in college, you're in law school.
Yeah.
What was the scene like? Where did you go to party and did you party? What did you do? What's going on?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting question. So, I started DJing like in eighth grade, so like 1977. I started DJing, and I did that obviously all through high school and Chosen Few stuff, and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But I continued to DJ in college, sort of at the college. So I was the big college DJ there.
Wow.
But I gave it up at law school for a while. But when I was in college, so I would sometimes, I was only about 3 hours away, and I would come home as much as I could, quite frankly, to go to initially the warehouse and then the power plant, which were the two places where Frankie Knuckles had his residencies. So I had started going to the warehouse in 1980 or 81, and
Got hooked.
got hooked. So sometimes I would come home from school, go to the warehouse, go right back to school. My parents wouldn't even know that I was in town.